Welcome into the SBR Betting Roundtable for Wednesday, June 20th. We got CFL, MLB. We got a bunch going on. College football, NFL. Donnie Rightside, Ian Cameron alongside. Guys, can you hear me? Ian, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and well. I don't really know what's going on. I think this is a live show right now. We don't even have Big Man here yet. We've got me singing in the background like an idiot. So I don't know what the hell's happening right now, but the round table's on, Drew. We're ready to go.
Yeah, seems like we're off to a rolling start here.
We are.
Donnie, I got you, man. So welcome into the show, buddy.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be me and Drew hanging out today. We'll do a little sign language to see if we can bring up our Canadian friend to the north, Ian Cameron. Big Man on Campus looks fantastic in his spotlight photo right now. So interesting day once again on the roundtable. Stay for the picks. Stay even more for the hilarity of trying to understand actually what the picks are today, folks.
Exactly, man. I mean, 55% free, or the free plays on the year. So not a bad start there. Ian, are you back with us? Can you hear me, man?
I can hear you. I don't know about you, but I can hear you perfectly. Yep.
I got you there. Donnie, you got Ian on that one?
I got everybody, man. We're living large.
All right, good stuff, guys. And we got Big Man on campus hopefully coming in. We'll call him in from the bullpen if he gets his, I guess, whatever's going on there in the Philadelphia area. But, guys, let's start off bet on fade pitchers in MLB. Big Man on campus at Jeff Nadeau. Welcome in, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
I didn't have his audio.
I guess Drew can't hear him there, yeah. So,
yeah, okay. You might.
What is going on?
I can't hear him either, yeah.
I guess a little late start here from Costa Rica.
I've been up since 9:20, bro. I've been waiting.
Is anybody out? I can't hear him.
Oh, man. Where are you at, big man?
I'm at my shore house.
All right, good stuff, man. Have you made a legal sports bet in New Jersey yet?
I have, yes. Couple. Yep.
Good stuff, man. How was the experience?
It's all right. It's not great. I mean, it's obviously very new. They close at a certain time. They don't know how to write tickets. It's okay. It's not great, but they're getting there. They have, it's only the first week really, so there's a long way to go. But hey, it's cool to just be able to go and make a bet and then cash out and enjoy it. So it's a fun time.
Cool. Yeah, I guess they got to work the kinks out. It was probably pretty smart they started in MLB and not like week 1 of NFL, huh?
That would be, yes. I was telling Donnie, the woman at the ticket counter didn't even. They don't even know like anything about sports betting. They know nothing.
That would happen every now and again in Las Vegas, though. I'll tell you, not every ticket. Right.
No, Drew. Like I feel like my mother would know more, and my mother doesn't even know what sport like LeBron James plays. So like, it's pretty bad.
All right, man. Well, hopefully they'll get it together by football. But guys, let's get into a little MLB betting. Tough first inning there, but top of the second now for the roundtable. So let's start off. Ian Cameron, follow him on Twitter at Babano. His work at sportsmemo.com. Ian, on the diamond, you got a bet on or fade pitcher for the watchers you want to throw out there, or a team, or both?
Yeah, I mean, a bet on team. I'm going to just throw a team out there. It's a team I saw last night play here. Well, I wasn't at the game, but I saw them play. They continue to play very good baseball. Atlanta Braves. It's a team that's playing really solid right now. Lineups connecting. Acuna has been a big addition. Ozzie Albies has been a fantastic young hitter developed for them. Dansby Swanson's finally found a little bit of pop at the plate, something he kind of lacked a little bit last season. The starting rotation. It's been solid. I still would love to see Alex Anthopoulos go out there, get a big-time 1 or 2 starting rotation arm. I think this team really needs that. They're truly going to contend in August and September in the pennant race here in the NL East. I think they're going to need that one more premium starting pitching arm. The bullpen's been reasonably good, and they find ways to win. And they've been a very good road team as well, and that's something I like to see. So Atlanta Braves, a bet on team for me moving forward. Been a good season.
Yeah, surprising season for the ATL there. Donnie, follow him on Twitter at Rightside VP. His work at DonnieRightside.com. Donnie, what do you got for bet on fade teams or pitchers or both, man?
You're on mute.
I'm sorry about that. With the Atlanta Braves at this point right now, when you're taking a look at them, I back up Ian on this one because they're a really good baseball team. But also, when you look at it, you want to make sure you're getting the proper values there. I mean, Atlanta's not going to be laying 200 every night. We can easily say out there that the Houston Astros would be a bet on team every night. But who's laying 270, 280 nightly? I mean, yes, they are winning, but you're going to have to lay the run line. And what type of value are you even getting back on the run line? So it is all about that. The fade team that are going to look about, it's pretty easy. When we're getting already into this, it's not even the trade deadline yet, and you want to look at the Kansas City Royals. It's a really bad combination, folks. When you can't hit, you can't get starting pitching, and you trade the only bullpen piece away that you actually have in Kelvin Herrera over to the Nationals. They are a complete fade team because what do you want out of them each night? Are they going to score 5 to 6 runs? Probably not. Even if they get to the 8th inning with a 3-2 lead, they won't be able to hold it down. A complete fade for the rest of the year, the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, I agree with you that on KC. Tough time there for the Royals this year. And big man on campus, follow him on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. What do you got for bet on fade teams or pitchers?
I got some pitcher, bet on and bet against. Bet on, I mean, we'll keep going down the line with Ross Stripling. I mean, Ross Stripling has really been on fire. I mean, now that Walker Buehler's out for a little bit, he's going to have to assume that ace role. I mean, they're dealing with some injuries there in that LA Dodger rotation. But you look at this guy, 9 starts. I mean, he's only given up 2 or more runs in one of those starts. He's got an ERA below 2, a whip at 1. Opponents only hitting 224 against him. I mean, Ross Stripling has continued to dazzle. We remember him in his first season. I mean, he flirted with a no-hitter at one point, and Dave Roberts pulled him out. But this is a guy that's had good stuff throughout his career. He continues to be that real solid arm in that Dodger rotation right now with some of the big boys out with injuries. Ross Stripling, obviously a bet-on pitcher. And they're starting to hit as well. So you have a little bit more comfortability, laying that run line with them. Bet against, I think Ian Cameron, I don't know if he can hear me, but I think he'll like this if he listens back. Matt Boyd. Regression has started to hit Matt Boyd, I think. You get his last 9 innings. He's given up 7 earned runs and 9 hits. You have a bad team behind you. You have a team with a bad bullpen behind you. His xFIP and FIP have been a bit high. I think he's been a bit lucky this year as a pitcher. I think we're starting to see the regression angle hit Matt Boyd. Last night he got crushed by the Reds of all teams. I think you're starting to see Matt Boyd come back down to earth.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He's had some regression for sure. Ian, could you hear Big Man at all?
Negative.
All right. This sounds like we're just going to have to go with that for the remainder of the show. But yeah, you said that
you can hear everybody else, oddly enough, except him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll keep plugging through here. Give a shout out to some guys in the live chat here. Troy, Juan, Dewey, what's up, guys? Thanks for chiming in, and we'll keep heading down. We got CFL coming up, World Cup, college football, NFL, and best bets off a 3-in-1 week, 55% on the year. Big man, we'll come right back at you because we were going to break down an early game here. The Dodgers and Cubs, 2 big name teams, big from they're playing in Chicago today, so wind being a factor. Looks like it's 9 miles an hour blowing in from center field. Your boy Stripling on the hill for the Dodgers against Leicester, and it looks like the Dodgers taking money, -109 at Chris now after opening +120. Are you looking to bet on the Dodgers and back your boy Ross Stripling here?
I'm probably looking at this total and staying under the number. I mean, this looks like a real pitcher's duel here, obviously with Stripling, who has done a nice job, as I just discussed. Look, John Lester's also been fantastic. He's got an ERA under 1 over his last 3. He's obviously been very good all season. And you look at the Dodgers, I mean, only hitting .230 against lefties this year. That's been a problem for this team for the last several years. Just can't hit lefties. Obviously the wind is not a big deal here, obviously judging with the total here. Dodgers are actually a favorite now. Dodger money obviously coming in with Stripling. I think this one's low. I think it's 3-2. The concern you have here is always, the bullpens, but you're starting to have some decent, Cubs starting to look pretty good in that area. Dodgers too. I'll go under 7. I think both these pitchers go back and forth. Looks like to me to be a pitcher's duel. But Drew, 220, Chicagoland, always kind of a tough angle as far as from a betting perspective. I think these two make sense to stay under the number, especially with the Dodgers' issues against lefties. Lester should have a pretty solid day here.
Donnie, anything on the Dodgers Cubs today?
Yeah, just reading into some lines here. If you take a look between both of those teams, a 7 at Wrigley Field, you almost want to, wipe the cold out your eye, as some famous rapper used to say there. But it's an interesting game overall. But I think Jeff hits the nail on the head when you take a look at both of these clubs and both of these pitchers. You're looking at some really good starting pitching. Just going over some, elementary numbers here. Stripling a 190 batting average over the last 30 days against batters. Lester a 180. Balls in play for both guys, 243, 202. ERAs both under 2 at this point. And yes, you do have some decent bullpen play, but the one thing that's probably going to ring the alarm here, if you're looking at a 7 in Wrigley, let's keep in mind yesterday, folks, we did have a double header, so you might be getting some key components here rested. Maybe a Chris Bryant rest, maybe a Rizzo rest, maybe some key bats for the Los Angeles Dodgers rest today versus 2 good pitchers. I'm in agreement there. When you see a 7 at Wrigley, there's usually something to it, and maybe one of those lineups is going to be a little bit light today. I like the under as well at 7. It's crazy. An under 7 at Wrigley? My goodness.
Yeah, and we got Dewey chiming in as well, Donnie. Early day games in Wrigley go under, and it's cold here today. Cold may be helping the under as well. 9 miles an hour blowing in from center. Ian, anything in conclusion on this Dodgers-Cubs early start today?
Yeah, I'm disgusted with big man on campus. He's got Skip Bayless, that idiot in the background on his television. Get that shit off. Turn something else on, please. I mean, come on. What are we doing there? Anyway, what have we got here? We've got L.A. Dodgers, Chicago Cubs.
I'm not watching it.
We got L.A. Dodgers, Chicago. I can't even hear what he's saying anyway. So L.A. Dodgers, Chicago Cubs. We've got Ross Stripling against John Lester. I like the Dodgers at the opening price. It was plus 120 they opened at as an underdog. I had to jump on that for a little bit. Stripling's been phenomenal. I know Lester's very good, no question about that. But I think I trust the Dodgers pen a little bit more. The Cubs bullpen could be short-handed. Brandon Morrow may not be available today for them in that pen. I think the Dodgers could have a little bit of an advantage in the latter stages today. And Stripling's a bet-on pitcher all the way for me right now. Not that Lester isn't. Lester's in great form right now, but the Dodgers have been a little bit more productive lately against lefties. So I like them at an underdog price. Now they're actually a slight favorite. I think a lot of the value's gone, but I'm still going to lean LA here.
Okay, leaning LA and liking the under as well. So it sounds like we're all
I agree. It's 2 good pitchers in good form right now, so I could only go under with the total.
Yeah, I agree with everyone as well. I'd look under in that one as well. Ian, let's come right back at you, man. Week 1 of CFL is over. I know you had your CFL show yesterday, 3-down breakdown. It was a good show. I tuned in. And just kind of what were your thoughts week 1 of the CFL real quick, and anything you're looking at for week 2? Also, what about our boy Johnny Manziel? Is he going to see the field in week 2?
No, he's not going to see the field in week 2. This guy is not going to be the starting quarterback of this Hamilton team anytime soon. It's Jeremiah Masoli's team. You might see Johnny Manziel get a play or 2 here and there, but even June Jones hasn't really committed to that. He's saying we're not putting in a Johnny Manziel package into the playbook. That's not going to happen. So he's going to have to bide his time, learn, just observe, watch what's going on out there on the field, wait for his opportunity, because it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. Week 2 in the CFL, coming up starting Thursday night. Some good opportunities for sure. As I said on the 3-down breakdown show yesterday, we're liking the Saskatchewan-Ottawa game under the total. Saskatchewan, to me, looks like an under team right now. A team that's their defense is well ahead of their offense. Calgary-Toronto, Grey Cup rematch. I will be there. Gabe Morency will be there. Cam Stewart will be there. It's going to be a bunch of SBR viewers will be there. People we've known from the past in the Toronto area will be there. It'll be a lot of fun. There's going to be some kind of crazy shit going down when Gabe Morency's involved. Don't know exactly what that will be yet, but whatever it is, we'll be very anxiously awaiting what that will be come Saturday.
That's Saturday night in Toronto?
Saturday night in Toronto, yeah. Stamps and Argos, yep.
Cool, man. Doing some tailgating beforehand?
That's the plan, exactly. A little barbecue. Watch, I don't know, I think there's some World Cup games that afternoon, so watch that pregame. Do a little barbecue. It'll be fun. Good times it'll be for sure.
And what about show-wise for SBR? Is there going to be just like on Twitter and stuff? Are you guys doing anything from the tailgate or from the game?
I don't think so. I think he's doing Gabe's got a Patreon, like a VIP type of setup for his Saturday shows. I think he's doing a Patreon show before the game, and that's the extent of it.
Okay. All right. Well, send out a couple tweets or something, Ian, and let us know how the atmosphere is, man.
Oh, yeah, we will. We'll be tweeting out some pictures for sure, yep.
Okay, good stuff. And follow him on Twitter, @Babano. Next up, we got World Cup. Ian mentioned it. Big man on campus knows what he's talking about with soccer or with football, if you would prefer. But big man on campus, what's catching your fancy World Cup bets-wise?
I'm under the impression Ian Cameron's lying about not being able to hear me. I really believe that. I think he can hear me. He's just saying he can't. But no, Drew, also, I love when you say football. You could just say football. You don't have to say football. You can say football. It's
You could
okay.
just say football and people.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
actually
listen,
it's actually pronounced soccer.
it's not. Keep in mind when you call it American football, there's nothing involving the foot. A football is soccer. That's what football is.
Are you saying we
play-
should change the name of American football?
Yes, we definitely should.
What would you call it?
Handball, because that's you.
I think there's a sport already called handball, though.
Well, then they should change their name because handball, or use some kind of different name because football is not. It's not football. It's a handball. But either way, I'm just messing with everyone here. World Cup today. You obviously would think that you're going to see some blowouts. Obviously, Portugal getting the job done. They didn't get the job done easily here early before the show here. It wasn't easy. Morocco played pretty well. But you would think the other two games with Uruguay today against the Saudi Arabians and Iran against Spain, you would envision both these games being blowouts. You finally have some big boys on the card here. I get the feeling today for Uruguay, it's going to get ugly for Saudi Arabia. The Saudis really looked poor. They looked awful defensively in game one, gave up a lot of goals. I do feel also Uruguay will clean sheet them, if you will. Tomorrow, Drew, big game, Argentina and Croatia. I have a feeling the Croats can get the job done here. Argentina has some major issues with this side right now. They've only won 1 or 4 of their last 10 games overall. Not really sure why they're a favorite in this game. I really don't. I know they have Messi, but they have a poor midfield, a bad defense. I think Croatia's right for an upset here. 3-1, I would take a shot with I would take a shot with Croatia tomorrow against Argentina.
Big man, what about Costa Rica in under again in their second and third games?
Well, look, I don't think that's ever a bad idea, Juice. The problem that with Costa Rica though right now is defensively they're not great. I think they have this reputation which you and I have talked about of they are a very defensive side, but they have not been great defensively lately. I think against maybe Brazil, I could see them getting a few goals put by them. Brazil obviously didn't play well in game one. You would think they'd be out for blood in game two. I get a feeling that could get a little ugly with Costa Rica. But again, they're not a real threat to score generally. And, I think at times they can play good defensively. So I don't know that it's a terrible bet, but against the Brazil, I wouldn't be too interested in that.
And big man, who's your pick to win it all? The whole World Cup.
I have a couple teams. I have Brazil. I took them at 5-1. I have Belgium and I have Croatia as well. I have Croatia at a big underdog, 35-1. Right.
And any insight on betting Mexico going forward? I guess Mexico's the only CONCACAF team to ever beat Germany, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the only team to ever beat Germany in general. Germany never loses, but yeah, Mexico, look, they were very good against Germany. The thing is, Drew, I mean, I think if we look back in that game, and I'm really not trying to offend the Mexican fans here, but I don't think it was anything Mexico did, really. I know they got the goal and everything, but Germany just could not find the back of the net no matter how hard they tried. I think we'll see a better concerted effort. Germany needs to get going. It's a big game on Saturday against the Swedes. They need to find a way. But Mexico, look, I mean, they're a hard-nosed team. They're good in the midfield. They're definitely going to advance. How far they can go is anyone's question because they generally don't advance too far. They usually always do this. I'm going to say they don't go too far. I think that Germany win will be the biggest win of the tournament for them, and that's about it.
All right, good stuff, big man. And Donnie, what about you, man? World Cup, does it interest you? Who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for our neighbors, Mexico, as your team, or what?
Yeah, no, I put out a video this morning where I broke down the reason why Uruguay today is the right side over Saudi Arabia. So if you want to sign up for a package, $99 a month, my World Cup package, we are 16-0 on both sides and totals there. Uruguay in the next game, play of the day.
All right, big man, you like that call?
His sarcasm about soccer annoys me, but I'll move on.
All right. Well, guys, we got a sport that all of us can agree on. We like to bet, everything like that, and we're moving on to Conference USA. Looking for a champ champ pick, sleeper team in Conference USA. Also, any like week 1 things or anything that really kind of tickles your fancy here. I know we started off with Sunbelt last week, so if anybody's interested in that, we had a good 10-minute or so breakdown of it. And pretty much we all agreed Arkansas State was the pick to win it. And I'm pretty sure we all agreed, Arkansas State or the field. We were all taking Arkansas State. I kind of wanted to start off with asking pretty much everyone, if you could pick FAU or the field, which one would you choose? Ian, welcome back. Would you take FAU or the field to win Conference USA if given the chance to bet it?
They're going to be a contender for sure again, but I want to be different. I don't want to say repeat champion, so I'm taking the field. Everything went right for Lane Kiffin. It was like this beautiful paradise type of run in his first year at the helm, turns a 3-9 football team into one that wins 11 games last year, Conference USA championship, really beat the tar out of North Texas in that championship game, and North Texas should be pretty good again this season, especially the offense, because they get Mason, a very fine quarterback, back on the field for them next season. So, but then they've got question marks at quarterback. I mean, they're going to have to look at see who's going to start for them. DeAndre Johnson and another guy that's battling him right now for the starting job. Can that defense continue to get better? We know they've got the skill position talent. We know Singletary's back to run the football for this team. So, but I do think other teams are going to have a good opportunity, and I can't see everything just breaking right for Lane Kiffin's squad to the extent it did last season. So I'll go the field, Drew.
And would North Texas be your champion pick if you had to choose right now?
I've still got defensive concerns with them, Drew. That's the issue there with North Texas. That's a big issue. I think UAB. I'm gonna go absolutely off the board. This team was a magical ride last year with Bill Clark coming back. This team coming back into FBS football. I'm not saying for sure they win, but they're a dark horse. I think they got a chance to win. I like AJ Erdely, the quarterback. Got skill position talent. I think that defense. I want a team that can play a little bit of defense in this conference. This is not a conference rich in good quality defense. We know this year in and year out. I think UAB can play a little bit of defense. They are a super sleeper, I think, to maybe win their division and maybe even win the conference in that title game. UAB Blazers. Look what Bill Clark did last year with them. They got to think they could even be better than that here coming up this season.
Yeah, I like it. The Blazers going off the beaten path, 6-2 in conference last year, so it's not totally off the wall, but yeah, no, going down the line there. I like that, Ian. Donnie, what about you, man? If you had to take FAU or the field, which one would you take?
Yeah, I'm probably still going to lean on and take FAU at this point here. I just like the talent that comes in. And it looks like what FAU is building is something that a lot of these lower level programs, Division I, like to try to do. Get those stud transfers out of, Power 5 conferences that aren't happy with their playing time. Seems like Lane Kiffin's coming out. I know they lost defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, but it's Lane Kiffin's team here. It's Lane Kiffin's offense. I don't think they're going to miss a beat. They have the single best player overall, Singletary, in the division at running back there. He was phenomenal. I mean, I learned about him early on last year when they played a game at Buffalo, which Buffalo was able to win by 3 points, but that really opened my eyes to what FAU actually could be in the season, and they certainly finished on a strong point. If we're taking a look at the best quarterback in the division or best quarterback there, it's UNT. It's Mason Fine by far. The only problem I have last year is this kid is a baller. He likes to get out, make plays with his legs, but he took some severe shots. Obviously, if you lose a player the caliber of Mason Fine this year for North Texas, you're not going to win. But I think coming out of, the brackets, I'm trying to look at the East, FAU, UNT comes out of the West here. If we're looking at maybe a sleeper out there, which I always like this team. I like what they do on offense. Even though Richie James is now in the NFL, it's Brent Stockstill and the boys from Middle Tennessee State. When they get going on offense, if he can stay healthy at quarterback, they're going to be a dark horse out there.
Yeah, they do lose Richie James, a wide receiver, right, Donnie?
Yes, they did. Yep.
Yeah, he went to the NFL, but no, I agree with you. They're kind of a sleeper, and nobody's talking about him this year. The good father-son combination there at the coaching, and you're like an FAU North Texas for a rematch, and like an FAU to win Conference USA.
I just think FAU, talent for talent, player for player, and again, if you're going to replace a quarterback out there, it's all about the system that FAU runs. Boy, it's nice to run a read option when you have the single best player overall in your conference at running back. That helps you ease into playing quarterback a little bit more. I like what they got going on at FAU. I think they win it.
Yeah, and you also brought up North Texas winning the West. Mason Fine, great player. I think he has 5,600 yards passing already.
He's good.
Yeah, he's only going to be a junior. He's on pace to be a top 20 overall passer in terms of yardage thrown for. So,
And also, in that, Drew, he brings back Guyton at wide receiver, one of the best targets in there. Those two are going to put up a lot of numbers this year. It's a fun conference to bet on and watch. Two talented teams here.
yeah, no, what Seth Luttrell's doing there in Denton is pretty amazing. Big man, let's get it. Let's get you in here, man. FAU or the field, and also have at it as far as Conference USA betting talk.
Yeah, I would take the field. I've said before, I'm not interested as much in FAU as other people. Donnie makes a good point. Singletary is probably the best player in this conference, but I'm I have some concerns at the quarterback position for them. You and I have talked before, Drew, about DeAndre Johnson and his kind of road to where he is. It's been a long road. I mean, he started out with Florida State. You get off the field trouble there, go down to East Mississippi and play for Buddy Stevens and that group, and you have a pretty good Division 2 season or whatever they play down there, or your junior college season. They win a state championship, I believe. But and then you go to FAU and you have a blood clot and you have to sit out. Yeah, you just wonder how long is the road and if it's been too much for DeAndre Johnson. He's still a good player, but that's a lot to do over the last few years. A lot of different systems. They have a new defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, which I know generally isn't a huge deal. Kiffin runs the show. They have a good group of wide receivers. The offense is really I think, gonna fall around with DeAndre Johnson. If he can find a way to play well, they'll play well. But their first 4 games are tough. I mean, take out Bethune-Cookman. You got Oklahoma, UCF, and Air Force, who's always tough to handle. I mean, they should beat Air Force, but you're very much going to start out probably 2-2 here with two real tough games to start the season out. I'm going to throw a team out that no one's discussed. I always have a soft spot for this Marshall Thundering Herd group with Doc Holliday. They bring back 9 starters on defense that only gave up about 20 points a game last year. This is a real good defense. And I'm going to give you a little gem on this quarterback they got from Wagner, Alex Thompson. Alex Thompson is a grad transfer. He had a very good career at Wagner in Division I AA. He trained with Phil Sibbs. Phil Sibbs said glowing things about the kid. Said he's a really good quarterback, and whoever gets him. I know Tennessee scouted him. They tried to grab him as a grad transfer, a couple others as well. But he goes to Marshall. Doc Holliday finally has maybe a backup, a backup plan now that Chase Litton's gone. I think Marshall, I don't think they're going to be dazzling like some of these other teams, but I think they're going to be gritty. I think it's going to be a tough place to go play as always. They're going to try to win it with defense, something that some of these teams can't do. Quickly, good point by Ian Cameron on UAB. Bill Clark, really good football team there. Got Erdley back for another year. Spencer Brown's a good running back. And they return 10 juniors and seniors on defense. He's right. They were good defense last year. You just kind of wonder, can they score enough points? That was possibly an issue with them at times last year. But I always like Conference USA. It's always a fun group. We didn't even get to talk about Western Kentucky, La Tech, or Middle Tennessee. So it's going to be a fun year, I think, Conference USA.
Yeah, I think it's a really volatile conference to handicap. I mean, the teams you just brought up, also like Old Dominion, even Charlotte's kind of got an athletic quarterback there. I mean, outside of Rice and UTEP, I think a lot of these teams can at least make a bowl game. I mean, would you agree with that? Do you think every team on the board in Conference USA could make a bowl outside of Rice and UTEP? Would you agree with that, Ian?
It's very, very, it's possible, but there's still some concerns with teams like your UTSAs of the world. There's a little bit of a concern there, how good they're going to be. I think that's a good point by a big man about Marshall. I finally heard him, by the way. I can hear him finally. Marshall, their defense their front seven's very good. I mean, that defensive front, they can collapse the pocket. And I think it's going to be okay for them. Certain teams, you change quarterbacks, you got a new quarterback, you're trying to break in a new starter. It's a struggle. It's a problem. But Chase Litton was okay as the starting quarterback of Marshall. He wasn't phenomenal by any stretch. So going to a new pivot under center for Marshall, it's not a terrible thing for them. And if they can rely on that defense, they should still be a pretty solid football team, a pretty good under team, I think. Under the total is probably the way you're going to want to go with Marshall football games this season. This could be the one under team in this conference where there's a lot of overs and a lot of bad defenses. That may not be this Marshall team.
Donnie, more wins, Rice or UTEP? I think you're muted.
Yeah,
Either
it
that
seems
or
to
I
be. I
can't
don't
hear
have any
Donnie now.
feedback. I
There
don't
we
have
go.
any feedback in my ear today for some reason. So when the mic goes on and off, I don't actually know. But no, I'm going to say Rice gets more wins than UTEP here.
Okay. Any opinion on that, big man? Rice or UTEP more wins?
I would probably go with Rice or UTEP. I think Wadley is a guy at running back that you got to kind of like. Maybe Ryan Metz at quarterback. But listen, you're really grabbing the low-level strings of Division One. I mean, really two bad football teams here. I mean, Rice was absolutely laughable last year. David Bailiff, for some reason, got another year last year. But yeah, I don't. You're really scraping the bottom of the pool in Division One with those two. But yeah, it's a fun. This is a good conference, man. And you guys mentioned North Texas. How many points a game are they going to score? Question is, how many points a game are they going to give up? Graham Harrell and Luttrell are humming down there. The problem is they can't stop anyone. They gave up over 35 points a game last year. If it's me, Drew Martin, I'm gonna take a shot with the Thundering Herd here. I think defense wins it in this one.
All right.
I want
like
to
it.
bring up something about Rice and UTEP. Obviously, these are dregs. They've got new coaches and all that. I think there's a little bit of I don't want to say they're going to be great and win a ton of games. They're not, but maybe point spread wise, be competitive, cover some big numbers as big dogs as Rice. Because they brought in Stanford assistant Mike Bloomgren to be their head coach. The David Shaw disciple. He's been under his coaching staff the last several years. What did I have a problem with Rice over the years? Mentally and physically, they were weak. They were pushed around in the line of scrimmage, pushed around in the trenches time and time again. This guy's going to bring some of that physical, because that's what Stanford is. They're a physical football team. We're going to be good in the trenches. We're going to run the football. Maybe he can bring some of that to Rice, get some of that physical toughness back that they completely lost under David Bailiff at the end there. So maybe a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel for Rice. I give Dana Dimel credit for taking this UTEP job. I don't know who the hell would want it. I don't know how the hell he could want this job or anyone, but he's got a really long, tough, arduous task. I would have stayed with Bill Snyder, to be honest with you, because he's been under Bill Snyder at Kansas State all these years. I would have stayed there rather than take this going nowhere UTEP job. But to me, if there's one of the two teams that could sneak up as an ATS under the radar team and better chance of being profitable basically this season, I think of those two basement dwellers, it could be that Rice team.
Guys, also an interesting week one matchup here. We got 181, 182, SMU at North Texas week one. Looks like North Texas laying 3.5 at home against the Mustangs. Big man, any initial leans here with this week one kind of intriguing Conference USA AAC matchup?
I mean, yeah, you're going to have a total probably mid-70s here. I mean, both these teams are going to hum it offensively. And look, I don't see any reason to step in front of that. I mean, Ben Hicks, another season under center for him at SMU. We've already talked about North Texas. I think the one thing about football in college, you generally have to look at games with a kind of a, as far as totals are concerned, some of these totals look square. I mean, this will be one of them where you're going to have a total in the mid 70s. It looks like a stone cold 41-38 type of game. I generally just ride those kind of things. Two rights usually make a right, generally, in my thinking. I don't try to overthink things in college. I think the pace is going to be there for both these teams. Both these teams struggle in the defensive end. They want to go very quick. Listen, when you have Graham Harrell as your offensive coordinator, I'm looking overs. I mean, Graham Harrell at Texas Tech with a Mike Leach. He's a Mike Leach disciple, basically. These teams just scream points to me. And I hate to be, kind of square, but I'm going to look over the number here, especially with the way these teams, you would think, will air it out with Fine and Ben Hick.
Okay. And Ian, any opinion on SMU North Texas week one?
Yeah, that's an interesting, fascinating game. I mean, you're going to get lots of points. I agree. It'd be a hard case for me to make with the under, especially when I was talking about in the chat a minute ago. The question mark on North Texas is not going to be their quarterback. It's not going to be their offense. It's not going to be the playmakers and their ability to move the ball and put up points. It's going to be their defense. That was the weak part last year. Over 35 points per game allowed on the defensive side of the football. So that's not an easy first game for a team that's looking for a defensive improvement. Seth Luttrell needs this defense to be better here in this season if this team is going to eventually maybe capture a CUSA championship. And you got to face this SMU offense right off the hop from a totals perspective. Yeah, the over does stand out. From a side perspective, Maybe make a small case for North Texas, but I think I'm going to have to see that defense really play good against a good offense before I can get to the window.
Okay, and Donnie, last but not least, any opinion SMU catching 3.5 in Denton, Texas? And also any opinion, let's just say, throw it out there, 74.5 is the total. Would you look to bet the over or the under?
Yeah, you would have to look to bet the over in that point because both teams are going to go 100 miles an hour. Both teams have capable quarterbacks and capable offenses. So I would be leaning over. But I mean, if you're just looking in line reading there, based on like what the public will see, wait a second. SMU is almost a Power 5 team out there. They're catching 3.5. I never even heard of North Texas. That should tell you something right off the bat that North Texas is actually favored by more than a field goal in this one. So just looking into it right now, North Texas are going to be excited. They're going to be at home for this one. It's going to be the Battle of Texas. The one thing is how are you going to overcome the athletic ability of one team? Because obviously SMU is going to have much more talent than North Texas. But keep in mind, if you're going to be at home, you're going to have good coaching, you're going to have a program on the rise. They circle this game on the calendar right here. And if I'm just reading the line right here, that's a stone cold North Texas line.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you on that line reading. Good stuff there, Donnie. Guys, let's move to professional football. And if you're liking the content, guys, know we got off to a rough start, but since second half team here, the four of us. So hopefully liking the content. Please give us a thumbs up, the like button.
Yeah.
Let's head to
you
the
bet on the
AFC
roundtable
North.
with your second half wager. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Pittsburgh 13-3 last year, 6-2 at home. ATS just 7-9. Donnie, Mr. NFL, you want to start us off with a little AFC North synopsis and also any opinion on the Pittsburgh Steelers betting wise this year?
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh, it's pretty obvious who the best team in the division is, and it's not even relatively close at this point. When you look at the AFC East, it's the Patriots. When you look at the North here, it's by far clearly the Steelers. The one team that I don't want to even say could challenge them down the stretch. We're always waiting on the talented Cincinnati Bengals, but we're just going to go back in a little bit of a time warp here. Let's take you back to probably every game that Cincinnati's played. It's the first quarter. The Bengals are on the drive. It's 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line going in, and for some reason, Andy Dalton gets stripped. He throws an interception, and the whole game turns on its head. It's hard to bet on the red rifle rocket out there, Andy Dalton, to actually win the division. It's the Steelers by far, but if we're looking at maybe a case in point here, you're going to get a quick look at this division game one because the sharpest of all sharps are loading up, refinancing their house, taking cash out, taking lines of credit against their house to jump on week one those Cleveland Browns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I won't have any action in that game, but boy, I would love to see a 41-3 smashing of the Cleveland Browns week one, and then see how many people jump on Cleveland week two at that point. I love the fact the Steelers and the Browns line up in Cleveland week one for this one.
All right, good stuff, Donnie. Ian, any follow-up to what Donnie had to say, AFC North-wise?
This of all the divisions we have to preview, this is the one I hate the most because we have to come up with a sleeper. Well, it's Pittsburgh and 3 teams asleep. That's basically what we're dealing with here. Pittsburgh and 3 teams asleep, not sleepers. Sleepers in that regard, they're all asleep. Baltimore, I've got issues with them. I don't trust their offense one bit. Defensively, they're okay. Cincinnati, forget it. I mean, it's the same old shit with them. Can't get it done in the big spot. Andy Dalton will find a way to screw up close games against good competition because that's what he does. And then this Cleveland Browns, don't get started on that. I'm hearing this ridiculous notions of 6 wins, 7 wins, challenging maybe even for the playoffs from the Cleveland Browns for a team that's won 1 stinking football game the last 2 years. What are we talking about here? Can I see this team win a few games first, for crying out loud, before we're starting to talk about 7-9 type of season for the Cleveland Browns? Holy goodness. I know they're better. I know they've got some better pieces now. They've got, Tyrod Taylor there. We'll see how Baker Mayfield is as it drafted him as number 1 overall. Their defense should be better. Okay, the offensive line. They get Jarvis Landry from Miami, a big-time target at a wide receiver position where they need some help. Okay, but let's see it all put together and result in good play and wins. And let's see Hugh Jackson coach this team up, which I've still got question marks that he can do, before we go gaga and nuts and lose our flipping minds that this team could go 7-9. Can I see them win 2 or 3 games first, please? Please, please. Can I see it? Can I see it? That's all I'm asking.
Big man on campus. Anything on the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, betting wise?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I'm looking more at some of the other teams. I mean, look, the Bengals are always on paper a team that you have to look out for. But you ask yourself, and Donnie mentioned, Andy Dalton getting stripped. The offensive line wasn't good. I like what they did in the offseason. You go out and get Cordy Glenn. You go out and draft Billy Price, a guy that can play guard and center. I think your offensive line's starting to be a little solidified there. The big thing is if AJ Green can stay healthy, if those running backs can stay healthy, Eifert's in there for a full season. One of the great mysteries in all of sports is how Marvin Lewis continues to get a job every year as the world turns. I don't understand it. He's going to hold them back, I think, always. But again, they think that he's worth it, and they're going to keep him. I like what they did in the draft on defense as well. I think on paper they're a team that could really challenge. It's just can they put it all together and make it happen? As far as the Browns are concerned, look, we hear the whole, let's see them do things, but this is another team on paper that I think offensively you would think is going to be pretty decent. I mean, they're going to be better than clearly last year, but it's hard to not be at all better. I mean, listen, are they going to win 6 or 7 games? No, but I don't think it's out of the question to think they can win 5 games, maybe even push 6. I think they have a pretty decent offense. Just keep Tyrod Taylor in there. I think he's good enough to move the football. Defensively, they're not too bad. They're not going to win this division. They're not going to get into the playoffs, but I don't think it's out of the question. I think they can win 5 games maybe. Ravens, complete new wide receiver core. They got sick of the whole injury charade with Rashad Perriman and those kind of guys. Listen, the Steelers, I guess we just have to pick them because they have Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, but I don't know. Something about them that just, is boring to me. I don't know. I'll go out on a limb. I think Cincinnati has a great year. I think they finally break through maybe.
So you like? I'm guessing their season win total over then, big man.
Yeah, listen, I think they addressed things that they needed to address. The offensive line has been a major issue for them. They've given up sacks like anyone, basically. I think you finally fixed that. I like some of the moves they made on defense in the draft, particularly. Got a little younger, still have a nice flair of, kind of veterans and young guys. It's just Marvin Lewis. That's the only thing kind of holding me back here. But I think on paper they look very good.
Okay, and then maybe even week 1. I'm looking here at my Bet Online account. Pitt versus Cleveland. It looks like the Browns catching 6 at home. Would you look to bet them week 1?
I think if you didn't get this game early, you missed out because you could have got 7, 7.5. 6 is not something I'm looking to do. I think Cleveland will be improved. I definitely think I'm going to be interested in them at some points, but sharps love Cleveland. The number's gone there. Look, if I was getting 7.5, I'd maybe take a shot with them. There may be a surprise here, but I don't know that I see it. The Steelers are so much better than they are. Watch James Washington for the Steelers. He might be that third option for them in that receiving core. That's a good player right there. But no, at that number, no, I'm not interested in Cleveland.
Okay, fair enough. And Donnie, I wanted to come back at you and give you a chance to kind of just any synopsis on the AFC North betting, because I know you mostly just concentrated on the Steelers there.
Yeah, keep in mind that when you look at the Steelers as well, a lot of things go into it. How many times you see me bitch and moan about managers and, head coaches and what they do? Mike Tomlin, one of the stupidest head coaches out there, for the simple fact is he goes for 2 because he has no idea what the game plan is. Imagine being a head coach on the sideline. You have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. You have no restrictions during the game. So at random times, he just holds up the 2 signal for no reason. So when you're betting point spreads that are over a touchdown with the Pittsburgh Steelers, be careful, because out of nowhere, Mike Tomlin will go for 2 when he absolutely should not be going for 2. Having said that, if there's a prop bet out there in the first game of the season, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns out there, over under, does Mike Tomlin go for 2 more than 2 times to absolutely jack up your point spread? Take the over. He's going to do it.
All right.
That's
Good
true.
stuff, guys. Anybody else want to throw out anything NFL betting-wise before we move on to best bets?
Yeah, quickly about that. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, you talk about week 1 games to look forward to. If the weather's good in that Pittsburgh-Cleveland game, I'll look over the total. I got no problem doing that. I think Pittsburgh's going to move the ball. Look, Cleveland's not shutting down Pittsburgh's offense, okay? They're not. There's too many weapons. They've still got question marks on that side of the ball, but Cleveland's offense does have more weapons. They should have better quarterback play this season, and they should be capable of making a few plays, at least putting up some points. Definitely look interested in the over in that game, Steelers and Browns. And by the way, we talk about Marvin Lewis, and it's always funny. We always come back to talk about him and how he's still here with Cincinnati. You know damn well, guys, we could be back here, and hopefully we are back here. SBR Sports Betting Roundtable, Wednesday, June 8th, 2028, 10 years from now, and Marvin Lewis will still be the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. You can write that shit down. It's absolutely going to be the case.
Wait, big man, what do you think the odds are? We're back here 10 years, all four of us.
Well, listen, I mean, I think it's something we should, definitely try to do.
Absolutely.
I don't think we will, but and that's not me being negative. I mean, again, I mean, Donnie will be 65 by that point, so I don't know. I don't know if that's something we can do, but yeah,
That's
listen,
cool.
hey, not for nothing. I mean, Donnie, I might not even be alive by that point, so yeah, you never know. Yeah, no, I think we should definitely attempt to do it. I think it'd be fun. Just maybe to come back for a reunion or something. But no, I have to disagree with Ian on one thing. I don't. I think at some point you have to get wise up for the Browns and say, look, if it doesn't work this time, you're out. But hey, 10 years from now, cheers. Hopefully we're still here.
Donnie, we got to give you a rebuttal, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, look, I'm going to be old. The knowledge is still going to be flowing out here. I'm still going to be screaming about. I can't even wait. I mean, think about 25 years how I rail on analytics now. I can't even imagine what that's going to look at 25 years. But just a quick point on the Cleveland Browns here. They are going to win some football games this year. The quarterback whisperer Hugh Jackson last year was one of the most horrific coaching performances I've ever seen. How many times do you see the Browns in position to score, tie the game up, or get a drive later, get some points before the half, and they fumble, turn it over, have no idea what they're doing out there? Tyrod Taylor will at least keep you in ball games. They're going to win some games this year.
All right, good stuff, guys. Yeah, hopefully 10 years from now, same place, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Donnie, BMOC, Ian, and myself. Guys, we got best bets, 55% on the year off a 3-1 week. We'll start off with Donnie Rightside. Follow him on Twitter at RightsideVP. His work at DonnieRightside.com. Donnie, what are you going with best bets for the watchers for this week, man?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple here. I'm actually going to go with a team total in this instance just because I want 9 at-bats versus terrific pitching staff. If you watched it earlier in the show, my fade team of the week, and basically probably could be the year, is the Kansas City Royals at this point. I don't even know the lineup right now for the Texas Rangers, but I'm going to go ahead and put a play on the over 4.5 team total for the Texas Rangers, minus 125. I got that at 5 times a little bit before the show today. I want 9 at-bats versus a bad pitcher and a bad staff in an environment that's going to be at 85 to 86 degrees with the wind blowing out. There's no reason tonight that the Rangers can't hit 5 runs against a team that won't even be able to compete or defend out there. And the good thing is we're not at home in Globe Life here with the Texas Rangers. I want the 9 at-bats. They should get 5 runs tonight. Over 4.5 team total, Texas Rangers.
Okay, you can catch that at 4.5, Donnie?
4.5, 5 times, minus 125. So a little bit of juice on there.
Okay, over 4.5, minus 125 at 5 dimes. Rangers team total for Donnie Rightside. His partner in crime on the right side of campus, big man on campus. He's Jeff Nadeau. Follow him on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. Jeff, what do you got for best bets, bud?
I'm gonna go to World Cup. I'm gonna go with Uruguay. I'm gonna lay the 2 goals here. Listen, I think they really come out here with a good performance. I thought against Egypt they were a bit timid. They didn't come out with a lot of fervor. I think they kind of just thought they would roll over Egypt because Salah wasn't playing. I think in this one, I think they really take apart the Saudi Arabian team. This Saudi Arabia team's bad. They can't even possess the ball, let alone score a goal. And now you're playing one of the best defenses in the world. I think you see like an 80-20 possession here. I think Uruguay will feel like if they can grab maybe 2 early here, maybe they can kind of put up a crooked number and take that goal differential down a little bit if it would get to that point. -2, plus 125 at 5 times. I think Uruguay wins 3-4-0 here. I think they crush Saudi Arabia.
Okay, so big man for non-soccer, it's just Uruguay -2 with no juice?
Plus 125.
Okay, plus 125. All right, thanks for that, big man. And Ian Cameron, follow him on Twitter, at Babano, his work at sportsmemo.com. Ian, what do you got for best bets, bud?
Yeah, we're going to go baseball because that's mainly what we got. We got World Cup, obviously, as well. But baseball, Seattle, New York Yankees, we're going to go with that game. Yankees winning big yesterday. We've got a situation where I think we're going to see some runs here in this game. We've got the Jonathan Loaizinga on the mound here for the New York Yankees. I think Seattle's going to be able to do some things here against him. He's still a young pitcher trying to get his feet wet here in the major leagues. We'll see if he's able to get the job done here as he gets this start for the New York Yankees. He's only had the 1 previous start so far. He only went 5 innings. He was good, but definitely not a guy that I think is going to pitch deep into this game. Going to be a little bit of a trickier lineup to navigate. And on the flip side, I don't really have a whole lot of faith these days in Felix Hernandez. He's a guy that's really lost a lot on his stuff. He doesn't have that swing and miss ability that he used to just even a few years ago. We've seen him consistently give up 4 runs or more in basically every start. You look at 6 of his last 8 starts, Felix Hernandez has allowed 4 runs or more. I think he's vulnerable here against a very hot, very potent, very deep New York Yankees lineup here in this game. And as Metallica once said, "Where's your crown, King Nothing?" He is King Nothing right now. King of Nothing, Felix Hernandez, because he's got nothing, not what he used to have. So let's go with Seattle and the New York Yankees over 9 minus 125. That'll be my best bet for the round table this week.
All right, good stuff, Ian. And that's over 9 minus 125. You can get that at Bookmaker right now, also at Pinnacle. I know that because I'm on it as well, Ian. And I guess we're going to double up on that. So hopefully that one comes in. New York Yankees, Seattle Mariners, over 9 minus 125. Can get that at Bookmaker right now. I'm on it. Ian's on it. Big Man on Campus on Uruguay, -2 plus 125. And Donnie, Rangers team total over 4.5 minus 125. So for Donnie Rightside, Big Man on Campus, Ian Cameron, I'm Drew Martin. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks, everyone.